All right. Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Hurley Investments Market View Commentary for Monday, the 21st of March, 2022. Really, this one is probably going to be pretty quick, so I'm going to give you guys a heads up right now. Think about questions. Think about questions you'd like me to try to give an answer to. Questions I hopefully will be able to answer. But let's see if I can't get some of those questions answered for you today. And I've got really just a couple things I want to go over, so it'll most likely be a shorter than usual commentary. As we look at the markets right now, as we look at the markets, there's a couple things that we saw that give us pause. Anyone know what happened today? There are a couple things that happened today, but does anyone know what happened today that you think might give a money manager or yourself a pause at thinking about our market, which direction it's going to go, which way you'd like to see it go? As you look at the market or what you've seen today, what do you guys think? And of course, yes. So I would say the same thing. Powell killed the rally today. And basically it was just him saying, hey, we killed the rally today because we are behind the curve for inflation. Not only that, it's not only transitory now, we have inflation. We got some problems here. So I get it. I agree. I think Powell killed the rally today as well. Big but though. But the buy the dippers brought the market back to flat the last 30 minutes. So, I mean, we really did pretty good. The last 30 minutes, we were kind of off to the races. In fact, I wonder if I can pull that up on, we'll see if I can get that here. All right. Can I do this to do it to 1 day? Nope. So I'm going to do it to 5 days. See if I can do it to 2 days. No, just not going to get what I'm looking for. Boy, do I miss. I certainly miss E-Trade. Let's put it that way. What if I can go 5 days? What if this gave me 5 days? Nope. Although I'm probably doing something wrong. So what if it went from 5 days? And what if I changed it to instead of daily or weekly? Doesn't do any good. Never mind. So what I was going to show you is not going to be helpful. All right, so plain and simple, we came back big the last 30 minutes today. So with that, we're there. Bill, we don't use Street Smart Edge. They don't have a group trading capability. So we're not actively using Street Smart Edge as we do our trades. We're still old school, putting in a group order, having to allocate to each account. Really pretty ridiculous is what I'm going to tell you. All right. What other things came out today in regards to the market or individual portfolios? What else came out today? I'm surprised no one's told me yet. What do you guys think? There we go. Of course, right? another 737 crashed in China, which for all intents and purposes hurts Boeing until the investigation is complete. Now, the good news is it happened in China, right? So because it happened in China, people won't be let in. I'm going to say it was very similar to the flight that had some time to take off. This one seemed to have dropped really quickly. And again, 737s were retrofitted and fixed for the previous problem. We're going to be paying attention to what's said about Boeing today. So yes, I agree with you. And William, how much CNBC do you watch? Disney has an issue. I'm going to put it this way, between the current CEO and the previous. I agree. They can't get along. In fact, I've got a pretty interesting article, and for forever we talked about, there it is, extremely awkward. Bob Chapek and Bob Iger had a falling out. They rarely talk, and the rift looms over Disney's future. I don't know how long you guys have been saying, I don't understand why Disney's not higher. I'm not sure why Disney isn't taking off. Fundamentally, it's all there. It should be significantly higher. As high as even, what, 290, 300? I don't remember exactly where we calculated it, but it should be significantly higher with things opening up. Kind of a bummer that Disney has to put their nose into politics, hurting themselves in Florida. In fact, I pretty think it's Florida and California. You're going to have a walkout of Disney employees at their parks tomorrow. I kind of wish businesses would just work on being the best business they could be and not inserting themselves into politics. We'd have a better return on Disney. But yes, I do. I mean, for all honesty, Disney had an issue between its current and previous CEO. I would say, so far as to say, the share price has suffered, right? And we collar or protect for this very reason. So yeah, let me be the first one to tell you guys. It's not like I know what's going to happen all the time. I don't. In fact, the reason why I collar trade is because I'll openly admit I'm not going to get it right all the time. I'm just not. So instead of doing spread trades and having to worry if we guessed right or trying to adjust and all that stuff, I don't. It's not worth it. The short-term moves, the ups and downs that I don't know, it's just not worth it. Plain and simple, we collar trade. We pick up as many shares as we can on the way down. So when it comes back, we get a bigger bounce, a quicker bounce, and we make a killing. That is the whole idea for what Hurley Investments does. We don't know it all, but we've got a system that can make a killing as things come back. You don't feel all the pain as things drop. That is the idea behind collar trading and what we do. All right, what else happened today? If you're going to look at the markets right now, what else are you seeing, or what else could you talk about going into the future? And Dave W., well, all right. So Dave W. already has it coming up. March ends, and let's see a historical good April. What we're going to have to worry about for March, end of the month tax selling. But don't forget, start of April, right? April starts out with new money coming in for the quarter. I agree. I agree 100%. Keeve and I have had this talk a couple times, and he's like, I'm not sure there's going to be any selling. And the comment is, well, we've seen selling, Keeve. We've seen a pretty big amount of money taken out of some accounts because they're paying higher taxes than they can remember. And again, that usually comes down to two things. It comes down to the child tax credits, and a couple people are making more money than they've made before. So definitely there are some issues there. And yes, actually, two of you said a couple different things that relate, but Amazon and UPS, also FedEx, have Teamster issues that could hamper supply chain resolution. So we do have a couple other problems, general problems right now. And I'm sorry I'm going to say it this way, but we still have supply chain backlog, a war, and higher taxes coming sometime next year, it looks like. That's probably going to have to be next year because of the primaries that are coming up in November, right? But yes, in general, we still have supply chain issues, or backlog is what I'm going to say right now. War and higher tax, a war that's still fighting, and obviously higher taxes coming sometime most likely next year. Unless we get, and I'm going to say it in general, unless we get more Republicans that win the primary and less Democrats. And I don't mean anything against Democrats. It's just a matter of, hey, Democrats are usually for higher taxes and government programs, where Republicans are the opposite. All right, let me go through. Again, I told you this might be a little bit quicker than normal. Big picture, the market remains at battle stations. I thought it was pretty interesting, and I really enjoyed it. But, oh, and I probably should have put that in here too, because it's true. China COVID issues. It's just how I'm going to say it, right? Yes, we have high inflation. Don't hesitate to go through the big picture. There's a lot that can happen to us, but their points are inflation, where it's heading, Federal Reserve, and whether it's on track to thread the needle. Again, doing higher interest rates versus pushing the economy into recession. I do not think our economy is going into recession. The ceiling for interest rates, the trajectory for earnings growth estimates, COVID and how long it will drag on productivity and disrupt supply chains, and the matter of valuations. Valuations haven't gone extremely high, so I'm not sure what they mean by that, but do feel free to read through this. I put it in here because I think it gives a good market overview on what we're looking at. Dow Jones Industrial Average, bullish. And again, people are going to say, but Kevin, the 5 and the 20 have crossed. That's true. It's the 50 and the 200 day have crossed, but technically it's bullish on a 5 and 20. So I'm just going to put the 5 and 20 day in there, where you typically would look at your buy and sell signals. We are now technically bullish. Pretty amazing that that happened all in a week, right? Amazing to see it if you take a peek on the chart there, right? We've gained the 50-day. Pretty important. The big push is going to be above 35,000. If we can push above 35,000, you might really see some runs up on the Dow, and that's only the Dow 30, right, or 31. S&P 500, bullish. Wow, what a week makes, right? 5 strong days. I wish we were so close today getting over the 200 day. We'll have some orders stacked up there for buying. S&P closed at 44.61. The 200 day is at 44.7, 71.62. We were 10 points off from closing above the 200 day. We get above that, there's some buy orders stacked up there. We'll probably see our market head at least to 45.50, but I would probably say we're closer to really 4,600. We'll probably hit that 46.07 and 95 cent R1 resistance level on the pivot points. And for those of you, again, all an R1 resistance level is, or if you're using pivot points, it's just 30-day averages. I found it to be very important to use when you're looking at spread trading. It's just one more indicator in a shorter period of time to let you know where support and resistance levels are. Something you should look at definitely before you place a trade. If you're going to put a bullish trade on, you usually don't put it on, below, above. You wouldn't put a bullish trade on above a resistance level, and you wouldn't put a bearish trade on below a support level. It's just kind of, again, basics 101 when it comes to investing or trading. And the NASDAQ, not quite bullish anywhere. It's still bearish, but it had some pretty, this is Compass. This is not the NASDAQ. Let's get the NASDAQ in here for reals. It's not COMP. You've got to do your dollar sign. Let's get it back to what we need so we can see everything. And we'll get it in here. So if we take a quick peek here, let me get the picture one more time. Come on. Make it a little bigger. There we go. We're technically bullish, just barely. And we're fighting to get above and stay above the 50-day, just like before. We closed at 13,838, and the 50-day is at 13,847. So 9 more points will be above the 50-day, and we should have a couple buying orders that are stacked up there, something that we can use and go forth on. Okay, I'm still thinking March is going to end down 4%. I want to be wrong. I truly want to be wrong. Earnings, we had Nike today, Adobe tomorrow, Fuller and KB Homes on Wednesday, Darden Restaurants on Thursday, nothing really on Friday. Economic reports, it's a really light economic week. New home sales on Wednesday, durable goods on Thursday, and pending home sales on Friday. I do have some interesting information here again. I heard this all the time on CNBC today about Disney. Everyone's calling it a buy, not necessarily a screening buy, but they're definitely saying back up to the highs, back into the year they believe. Please read through this to understand what's happening with Disney. It makes a great understanding, or I now understand better why it wasn't moving like it was supposed to. We have an interesting article that was either given to me or that I found, how much it truly costs to charge or refueling an electric vehicle against a gas vehicle. Out in my state, we have different tiers, and if you're refueling a car at night, basically the second half of the month, you have about triple the cost, if not quadruple the cost of your energy because you went into an extra tier. And if you bypass that second tier and go into the third tier, you're losing money by charging an electric vehicle. Don't hesitate to go through and read some of this. Most medical debt will be wiped from consumers' credit score. Thank goodness I had a couple kids that broke arms, a couple kids that got his foot run over. Boy, this is one of the problems that it took me so long to get my house refinanced, was just because we had an unusually high level of medical debt because our health share, it's not a health company, but our health share that we used was really slow on paying bills. What a bugger it was, but find this interesting. This actually might help me out a little bit. And then last but not least, we know Biden spoke last Friday to China, what they're supposed to do. It's just an article to understand what might have been spoken and where we might see some things go to. And I found one more article on where Meta Platform will be in 3 years. For me, it was pretty, I don't know. I found the numbers again backing up the previous article I gave you before. So I'm sorry today's a little short. I didn't have so much. Maybe call me tired. But what questions can I get answered for you guys in regards to portfolios or where you see things going? And William, you don't need to put yours in there. Let me just go ahead and state it. William asked earlier, and I found it pretty interesting. And this is again coming from someone over in Great Britain, New England, England. Tell me if I'm saying it wrong. But why would I think the back half of the year will be better than now? And again, I'm going to throw both sides out, right? Well, Kevin, don't you understand higher interest rates will slow growth? You had the uncertainty of elections in the United States in November. You have sell in May and go away, and September for the summer doldrums. It really comes back to my belief is of the reopening trade. We never fully had a reopening of our economy since COVID. And if I can go ahead and throw some of my feelings out there, and I know Dr. Gupta's in here, if Maud's in here, both of them are going to give me a tongue lashing, and I probably will deserve it. It's not that I wasn't scared for COVID, especially with my wife who has ankylosing spondylitis, which is just a rheumatoid arthritis. But boy, the way things were shut down, I just feel it could have been done better. I wasn't a big believer in a mask either. And I know my doctors are going to say, well, wouldn't you have a surgeon or a dentist have a mask on there? And I said, well, yeah, if they're leaning over my open mouth, yes. I know I don't understand all the thoughts behind sterile environments or so forth, but I just have to tell you, my belief is that COVID was so overdone and so many things were shut down, maybe even to the point of needlessness, that I feel we have a reopening trade. The question is, will we have the workforce that'll ever come back to work? The hybrid work at home, work at a job. I like that idea. I'll be honest with you. I don't think there are enough mature adults that will work from home like they're supposed to. It's a unique individual. I've worked on sales teams before where those that worked on home or at home were definitely less productive than those that worked at the office and had someone have a thumb over them to a certain degree. So I do think the growth for this year will come on the back half of the year. And some of that growth could come with as quickly as Ukraine and Russia being done and over with. I don't think that's happening for at least another couple of months, right? So it'll be interesting to see where we end up. With midterms impacting the markets and in what ways? So usually midterms boost market returns into the end of the year. And it doesn't matter if it's Democrats or Republicans, but it's a change. When you start to see a change, anytime you have a change in the averages, someone gains a House or the Senate back. When you see those changes, it usually is reflective of an increase in hopium. That's hope and optimism put together. You see that increase in hopium, which you'll have a run to the end of the year, which is really just a Christmas rally. It's something to be excited about. And again, it doesn't matter if it's Democrats or Republicans. I'm sure there's some charts out there, Jim, that I will pay more attention to come September, October, as they get published. But the reality is, I found it doesn't matter if it's Democrat or Republican. Anytime you see a changeover in the House or the Senate where one party gains an advantage, and really what it comes to creates gridlock where the government won't be a factor because they're tied themselves up, you usually see a pretty good increase into the end of the year and the beginning of the next year. So that's what we're looking for when we're talking about midterms and elections. In all honesty, it's just one seat in the Senate for the Republicans to take that over or have a slight majority. And you have gridlock in Washington, which is usually very good for the markets. Great question. And William, let me know if I answered your question sufficiently. I know you sent that to me via email earlier, so if I need to go over that, just let me know. The reopening trade. Reopening will include, yes, job market, and it's going to include supply chain resolutions. It's going to fight higher interest rates. Got to be picky in those companies you want to be part of, right? All right. Any other questions you guys have? If not, I told you today's going to be a rather quick one. It's been a while since I've only been 30 minutes. But wow, I think I kind of said everything in the last 4 weeks. I think I've kind of said everything, and that's about everything I have to be helpful for you guys. All right. Hey, I appreciate you guys being here. Have a wonderful evening. Believe it or not, my wife's going to be pleasantly surprised. I'm going to go catch the back half of dinner with the family. You guys take care. Have a great evening. Look forward to seeing you Thursday morning. Bye-bye.